So which of these controversial figures has been immortalised in wax at Madame Tussauds? The answer is all three.
Oh, that's right. Saddam is in London and Hong Kong. Hitler's a new arrival in Berlin where someone knocked his head off. And Bush lives in London, New York, Washington, Hong Kong, Amsterdam and Las Vegas. But not for much longer. You're watching The Right Stuff live on 5 with Lowry Turner, comic Hugh Dennis, and finally, he's here, Biggie!
I'm so sorry.
Where have you been?
Who's this supposed to be?
That's you.
Ah, disgusting. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm late, but I've been... What's it? Oh, I have broken it. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm late. I've been at 10 Downing Street because Gordon is in a terrible state. He wouldn't let me go. And feel that. It's wet. It's wet from his tears. It is... But he says his love to all of you, and he's holding in. Anyway, what's been going on?
Well, all kinds of stuff. Hugh's been brilliant. He's done the papers for all of us.
Of course he's done the papers.
Papers for all of us. Many laughs.
Yeah, and
great
look
time.
at this. Look at this off-the-shoulder number.
I
Well...
thought we should do one more escort girl.
That's what they said. Someone wrote in saying she looked like an escort girl.
Would you pay good money?
Larry! Right.
And he was off one shoulder last time.
Yes. Like a kind of...
That's great.
Right, now, let's tell you about today's show. Still to come this morning. Is it now time to keep sex secrets out of newspapers? Editors I know fear the Max Mosley case, and European law means it won't be long before salacious sex stories are a thing of the past. The News of the World, right? We all know carries a lot of them. It's the world's biggest-selling English-language paper, so there is clearly a huge demand for such stories. But maybe even the rich and famous deserve a private life. 0207 173 5555. That's the number for your thoughts. But first, talking of thoughts, we'd like them on the new waxwork dummy of the pop star Amy Winehouse. The singer, the troubled singer, has been immortalised by Madame Tussauds in London. But the critics note the dummy version is rather healthier looking than the real thing. There is no blood to be found between the waxwork's toes, as there was with Amy, which is a sign of heavy drug abuse. There are no scars on the dummy's arms, a sign of self-harm. And there's no trace of drug abuse on her hooter either. So, two questions. One, does Amy deserve to be immortalised in wax? I think she does. She's our best female singer in years. Won 5 Grammys, for God's sakes. Tussauds also say they've been inundated with requests by fans demanding they make a dummy of her. The second question, though, is should the model have been made to look more like the real thing? Dirty fingernails and all. That's a picture in today's Daily Star taken yesterday. What do you think then, Biggins? We haven't spoken to you yet on this?
No, I'm a great fan of hers.
Yeah.
I think her music is fantastic.
Amazing.
I think it's the saddest thing ever that she's in this state that she's in. We had this the other day, it was one of my newspaper things, about the father saying he'd rather take home this...
The dummy.
The dummy.
A lot less trouble.
Absolutely, and cleaner. And I do think she should be there, because down the corridor there's Hitler.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of other people that are there who perhaps shouldn't be there, but I think, yes, she should be there. And I think...
warts and all?
Yes, I do think warts and all would have been a much healthier way of going, pardon the expression.
Even though young kids are going to turn up, maybe say, Mummy, Daddy, what's wrong with their arms? Mummy, Daddy, what's wrong with their toes?
Well, then perhaps they should know, because then they won't do it themselves.
If she was going to be completely realistic, she'd have to try and hit you every time you walk by.
That was very unfortunate, wasn't it? Because I don't think she was, actually. I mean, I think the press, again, made it look as though she was hitting people, and I think she was, unfortunately...
No, I think she has hit a few people along the way, yeah.
But this is not some documentary about Amy Winehouse. This is a Madame Tussauds. They're not real. They're made of wax.
But they pride themselves on how real they look.
Well, yes and no. Have you been there recently? They're not that real looking. I mean, no, I think it's totally... I wouldn't want to take my kids to Madame Tussauds and for them to see scars on her arms. And, you know, this is about...
But you're also very young. What if they were sort of pop age, 13, 14?
If they're old enough, if they're 13, 14, they already know about Amy Winehouse. They would have read the papers. They would have, you know, seen the websites. They know all that. This is about you get your picture taken, don't you, with the waxwork. That's the reason for going. And so I think it's all about fantasy. It should be an idealised version of. Certainly, if I ever wanted a waxwork of me, I'd expect to look at least 10 years younger, at least a stone
enlightened.
So if we're going to do idealised, then Adolf Hitler hugging Jewish children and gathered around with lots of gay men, that would be the kind of nice... Let's rewrite history there.
I think we should be asking...
Saddam Hussein, you know,
we should be
shaking hands
asking
with George
why
Bush.
Hitler is there, because that I do have a problem with.
Well, I think because he's a figure from history, isn't he? And that's part of the things they do, is they immortalise figures from history.
They're not role models. They're not there. No. I think Dr. Crippen is in Madame Tussauds, isn't it? I mean, I think she should definitely be in there. I think there is a problem that...
Scars and all?
Yeah, but I think, you know, part of it probably is that her physical appearance changes so quickly. You know, she'll have new scars, she'll have different... You can't accommodate all of them. You can't get sort of patches, you know,
busy,
put new ones on, can you? So you just, you know, I think it's fine to have an idealised model. I also think that people sort of underestimate kids and things in a way. You don't necessarily look at Amy Winehouse and go, oh, wow, I want to be her. You sort of go, well, I don't at all want to be like her.
No.
You know, it's a sort of negative thing as well, isn't there? I think it's fine.
OK,
I think it's all fine.
I mean, I suppose it's whether it needs to be sanitised or not, I think is at the crux of all this. Let's throw it open to you. What do we think of the Amy Winehouse waxwork? Amy?
We've got a big Amy fan on the line. It's Jilly on line 1.
Morning, Jilly.
Good morning.
So, if you're a big fan, you presumably think she deserves a waxwork?
I do. I mean, I'm a pensioner and I can't stand most of today's music. But when I heard Amy on Back to Black, totally bowled over.
Yeah, it's amazing music. But, so, you think we deserve a waxwork, but do you, as a fan, deserve a waxwork that really looks like Amy or something that's been cleaned up?
I think probably, like Hugh said, actually, her appearance does change. I mean, she has put on some weight since she was looking at her worst. Yeah. And I think it is perhaps more aesthetically pleasing, should we say, to see her cleaned up a bit. And also, let's hope that's how she will be in a few months' time.
Well, one can always hope. I mean, the scars from self-harm are going to be there forever.
Yes, but all the same, I agree with Larry. I mean, when you're taking children there and stuff, it's probably better to see the cleaned-up Amy. So
you'd be quite up for Adolf Hitler hugging Jewish babies, yeah? Because that'll make him seem like a more family-friendly mass murderer.
No, not at all. I think that's different. Don't forget, Amy isn't anything like Adolf Hitler. All this poor girl has done...
I'm not saying she is, but, you know, you are talking about rewriting history.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are, because Amy, the real person, is covered in scars from self-harm, right? Let's leave aside all the drug abuse. Self-harm is an issue which affects, as we know on this show, an awful lot of very vulnerable people at bad times in their lives, and there's no sign of that in the waxwork dummy. Adolf Hitler is a famous mass murderer, persecuted and killed 6 million Jews, OK? Now, if you're going to rework Amy to make her look clean-cut and clean-living, why not have Adolf Hitler hugging Jewish children?
No, I just think it's different, Matthew, I really do.
I don't know
I mean, if she had a few scars on the waxwork, I wouldn't have thought that was a big deal.
Well, no, but...
All I'm saying is that she's brilliant, she's talented, she's the best person we've got.
And she's been cleaned up so she doesn't look like the real person by Madame Tussauds.
Well, like I say, let's hope in a while she will look like
all right,
that.
Ginny,
all the girl's done is addicted to drugs. Something's happened to a lot of us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm not saying in judgment. I'm just saying if I'm in judgment on anything, I'm in judgment on Madame Tussauds. OK, thank you for the call. Let's have another.
OK, let's go to Ezzy on line 2.
Ezzy, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Does Amy deserve to be immortalised in wax?
No, she doesn't. Because we're sending the wrong messages.
Why are we? What message are we sending?
We are glorifying drug taking, because what is happening now is that anybody who does the wrong thing is glorified. Children are now looking
hang on, Essie. We'll then have to take Adolf Hitler out because he quite liked doing speed, didn't he?
Yes, so... I understand what you're saying, but what we are doing now is too much political correctness. We have to condemn drug taking.
Yeah, but what about celebrating? Essie, whoa. What about celebrating? Before we get on to the downsides, right, what about celebrating the success? The best female vocalist for years.
Yes, I understand that. She's got a good vocals, but I don't think she deserves to be in Madame Tussauds.
OK, Essie, thank you for that. And in our audience, Sarah, we've got a young fan here, is that right?
We have. It's Courtney. So what do you think?
How old are you, Courtney?
14.
OK, so you're obviously an impressionable, vulnerable youngster.
If Madame Tussauds are going to create a waxwork of Amy Winehouse, then they should either do it realistically, which may be including self-harming scars, or not create one at all. Because she is Amy Winehouse and that's her appearance.
So you would like to see her warts and all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. Excellent. Well, that's a nice note to end on. Thank you very much. Cheers, Courtney. Nicely said. After the ads, is it time to keep sex secrets out of newspapers? Does everyone, the rich, the famous, have a right to privacy when it comes to what they get up to in their bedroom or their local dungeon, Christopher? Or do we, the public, have a right to know? And anyway, what constitutes public interest anyway? 0207 173 5555 is the number of your thoughts on the Max Mosley verdict and its repercussions. I keep telling you, newspaper editors say it won't be long before they're barred from reporting on cheating MPs, philandering footballers and naughty vicars. Would that be such a loss? Your thoughts after the ads.